Something that never seems to get through the prideful is realizing how much they depend on other people yet lack the self-awareness to come to terms with this. Instead, they would rather delude themselves into believing the world revolves around them. Such is the case with that pathetic dark mage, Neko Isis. She was born in the Neko Kingdom a long time ago, under the reign of Hecate II, who ruled the Neko Kingdom from 1184 to 1238. And under Hecate II's reign, he had summoned a council to choose a new archmage who had been burned alive for using dark magic. And one of those candidates was the heiress to a very wealthy family named Isis, who had studied the magical arts as part of the Neko aristocrat training. But among the magical arts, Isis had also studied under a secret master, or should I say, entity, that taught her the ways of magic and sorcery that was forbidden for countless generations, and offering Isis secret knowledge she could never have naturally known and gave her an edge over everyone she met. And over time, her once hesitation to listen to this entity that had masqueraded as an angel of light became something of a slavish obedience as her access to esoteric knowledge began to delude her into pride. And over time, she would eventually become this entity's body in the world, to such a degree that whatever was left of Archmage Isis could no longer be recognized. And in her moment of ambition and pride, she used the esoteric knowledge she gained to create a new dark magic spell that would kill Hecate II in his sleep without any trace, and make it look as if it were by natural causes. But she knew that the use of dark magic made it so she had little time to live. So she created a new dark magic spell to steal the life from other creatures who had no defense against dark magic. Such was why the creatures that used dark magic had to feed on others like Gumiho, who needed to feed on the hearts and livers of live kitsunes in order to stay alive lest the dark magic kill her. Such is how Isis stayed alive for centuries longer than any Neko should have naturally lived. But despite extending her earthly life well beyond natural means, seemed like it would be a benefit to many people. It was illegal to perform these kinds of spells, even in every magic practicing society, because even though they were deluded by idolatry, even they knew the cursed existence that would happen to the people under these dark magic spells. And seeing how cursed their existence was, they would rather die a violent death than live with such a dark magic disease, with the punishment for practicing dark magic to be burned alive as the most common way to put the dark magic user out of its misery, while believing to burn away any dark magic that would remain. This practice of burning users of dark magic went on for centuries in pre-Christian societies, from the most sophisticated like the Celanese and Solsurans and Kitsunes, down to the most primitive like the Inu tribes and Tanukis and nymphs. After the enlightenment of these societies, the burning of dark magic users would cease as their powers would no longer have any real effect. With the well-known quote by the ancient Solsuran Saint Augustus in 430 AD saying, "We have no need to fear practitioners of dark magic and the magical arts, because they have no real power. Instead, these users of dark magic would either be cured themselves of dark magic, or be punished for crimes committed while attempting to do dark magic rituals like cutting the hearts out of people and being hanged for it. As such, the dark mage Isis could be cured of her dark magic disease. But because of her own pride and desire for domination, she will never be cured of her disease and take it with her into her grave and into the fires of hell." Did you know this? The history of magic. Although magic isn't something that you'll typically study in history class in most classrooms, the magical arts were a historical aspect of many real-world pagan societies from the Egyptians, Mesopotamia, Greeks, Romans, and pre-Christian Britain. Magic, rather than be a form of entertainment with illusions and tricks, was a religious act that involved communing with other entities and using rituals to accomplish different things, and there wasn't really a hard line between what divided dark and light magic, apart from its intent and outcomes, as the rituals and incantations were basically the same. And many times these rituals were done to gain advantages over enemies and or gain secret esoteric knowledge for controlling the natural elements, spirits, or the world in general, but typically always had a sacrificial price. Magical rituals and the occult practices would die out as these societies became more Christian, with many people who practiced these magical arts claiming that their magical arts would not work on Christians. Also, dark magic in another world's fairy tale universe is the only kind of magic that is related to the historical magic described here, but the common practice of magical creatures is really a natural resource that is poorly understood, hence is called magic. Sulsuren Saint Augustus. This is a little nod to a real-world saint known as Saint Augustine of Hippo, who is known for many things, but also for saying, "We have no need to persecute witches because they have no real power." He is also one of the few church fathers to write in Latin as opposed to Greek, which is why he is so influential with other Latin-writing church fathers like Saint Jerome on the development of Christendom in both the pre- and post-schism West, when no one spoke or read Greek anymore, but could understand Latin as the common liturgical language. Saint Augustine is also one of the most hated saints by sectarians within the Orthodox Church to such a degree that they refuse to acknowledge him as a saint, and even go so far as to call him a heretic, despite Saint Augustine being a high venerated saint within the Orthodox tradition. He also reposed in the Lord in the year 430 AD, and his feast day is August 28th.